the way, I have gotten so obsessed with the North Korea situation and Iran, and I forgot to get to our top story today like a fool the last 3 hours. The DOD training manual describes protest, all protest, as low-level terrorism, and the Army's declassified documents that I am watched by the U.S. Army at my events, and so is Ron Paul. And Ron Paul just kind of nicely shrugs it off. But that's coming up. We have these In the Fed rallies, and they have Army intelligence there. New breaking mainstream news, we'll cover that. And we've got just a few minutes left with Tom Woods, TomWoods.com, the Ludwig von Mises Institute, best-selling author. But let's go ahead and play just a minute or two of this clip. This is the Selector General, the investigator of the Fed investigating itself, bumbling around. Here it is.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Inspector Coleman, you are the Inspector General for the Federal Reserve, right? Okay.
That's correct.
Have you done any investigations concerning the Federal Reserve's role in deciding not to save Lehman Brothers, which led to shockwaves that went through the entire financial system?
In that particular area, I don't generally comment on specific investigations, but we do not currently have an investigation in that particular area.
All right. What about the $1 trillion plus in expansion of the Federal Reserve's balance sheet since last September? Have you conducted any investigations regarding that?
Right now we have a, we call it a review, and so I don't know if the term investigation may have different connotations. So we're actually conducting a fairly high-level review of the various lending facilities collectively, which would include, the TALF, a variety of the different programs that are in process. So we're looking at them at a fairly high level to identify risk.
Well, I understand that, but we're talking about events that started unfolding 8 months ago. Have you reached any conclusions about the Fed expanding its balance sheet by over $1 trillion since last September?
We have not yet reached any conclusions.
Do you know who received that money?
For the... We're in the process right now of doing our review, and...
Right, but you're the Inspector General. My question to you specifically is, do you know who received that $1 trillion plus that the Fed extended and put on its balance sheet since last September? Do you know the identity of the recipients?
I do not know. We have not looked at that specific area at this particular point on those reviews. And
what about Bloomberg's report that there are trillions of dollars in off-balance sheets transactions that the Federal Reserve has entered into since last September? Are you familiar with those off-balance sheet transactions?
I think it may be important at this point, too, just to bring up a certain aspect related to our jurisdiction. And just to...
All right, let's just go ahead and go back. The Inspector General has no jurisdiction over who the Fed's giving money to. In closing, Mr. Woods, your comments on what you just heard.
Well, when my wife showed this to me the other night, and I know there are a lot of us who would kill to have a wife who digs out anti-Fed videos, and I'm telling you, I got one. and when I heard this thing, I thought, this is the best video in favor of auditing the Fed I've ever seen. It's almost like, I made it, and she's an actress. I mean, it is astonishing that, as I say, either she's ignorant or she is sinister, but this is the person they put out when they know we've got serious questions. Well, my view is the party is starting to end. It's been almost a century for the Fed, but people are starting to cotton on to it, and it has not happened a moment too soon for me.
So it's not going to live to 100. It's 97, 98 years old right now, and it's time to fell this rotten tree that's endangering the entire house.
I'd love to do it. I don't know if we'll do it in time for 100 years. I don't know when it'll happen, but I do think it will happen.
Well, I hope it's getting long in the tooth. This parasite needs to be removed from it's like a 2-pound tick on a 1-pound dog. Meltdown, a free market look at why the stock market collapsed, the economy tanked, the government bailouts will make things worse. I look forward to talking to you again, sir. Amazing interview, TomWoods.com. Tom, thanks for spending time with us.
My pleasure. Thanks.
Amazing having him on. Oh, very informative. So that's the answer to all you out there that think we need to have more government as the solution. Now, I agree with Tarpley. If we're going to have trillions spent, might as well give it to the people. But that's not going to happen. We'll be right back.